Hey, Jenna here with Dip and Fun and Bookworms and Brushes, and we are going to get started with our cute little crab today. So I am going to start. I've already put my pencil lead on the back of my paper, and then we need to put this guy on our paper here and get him traced. So I am going to actually turn him sort of catty corner. And I'm going to tape him down right here. I'm going to grab my pencil and I'm going to trace. So just for those who are just now seeing this video maybe in the future, all I did was take my pencil and scribble on the back of it really well. And now I'm going to take my pencil and do about a medium to firm pressure. And this will create my transfer on my paper. We're going to use 140 pound watercolor 4x6 paper. You don't have to be real perfect with this. And these tracers came in your box if you're a part of Bookworms and Brushes. This is inspired by 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. So this is my second video recording this, same painting. I did one earlier, so you might see my reel on this one, so it'll be slightly different. I have been having some major technical difficulties. I'm sure some of you have noticed my video audio situation and the graininess of my videos. I've been struggling for a while with lives on Facebook, which is why I haven't really been doing many of those. And then I've had this issue with like the lives won't work, and then I've had a video camera that was okay, still not great. I have a fantastic camera phone, very good one, and I haven't been able to use that on Facebook. And that is my preferred way to get these videos. I need to look into YouTube a little bit more and see what else they've got as far as like how I can record straight into YouTube. So my video camera on my phone is so high def that I have trouble like downloading it on anything, even if I like, actually I can't, I wasn't, and I am not tech enough to know what I'm doing, so I can't get it uploaded because it says the files are always too big. So anyway, this is going to be slightly different than my first video if you do end up seeing it. Alright, so I am going to go ahead and get my guy sketched on here a little bit darker. So just know, for those of you that have been watching the video, I am working on it, and I apologize that it's so grainy and terrible, for lack of better words, because it is not very pretty right now. So I don't know if you notice on your crab stencil, it is this side of him has one too many legs. They should only have like 3 legs on each side. And then their claw. So I am working on getting this guy correct. I'm gonna make this leg come out this way. So sit that back leg back here, sort of bending down and around. And then this guy, this side has the right amount of legs. It has a little too many sections, I feel like, but It's alright. So I'm gonna cut down on some of that. How much we got going on there. And I'm gonna thicken this up. This is trying to make that a little more similar to this side. Okay. Okay, it's a little better. Probably put in here. And I'm actually gonna make this that smaller side. So the crabs always have one smaller crab claw, and then I'm gonna make this one a little bigger. So I sort of freehand some of this because it's just not exactly what I was wanting it to look like. Okay, so I've got him there, and then I'm gonna sort of do that same technique I did earlier. So I'm gonna grab my washi tape, and I'm going to unstick some of this by putting it against my pant leg, and I am gonna go over top of my crab so that he's like sticking out of the background, and I'm just gonna eyeball it, make sure that's sort of even and straight up there. And then I'm gonna do the same thing down here. So all of the pieces of him that are under the tape are going to be like sticking out from behind the background. Okay. And then I'm going to show you. So I put all of my paint in a silicone ice tray. So when that dries, you can actually just push it up and pop the paint out, which is pretty cool. But the lid, I've got one that's got a lid, and it keeps it pretty good for a couple weeks at least. So I just squeeze some of my paint right down in there.
A new station alert has arrived.
Sorry. Apparently there's a station alert for weather. Some storms happening in Ohio. Need to turn those things off. All right, so there is the two paintbrushes I'm mainly going to use here. I've got my flat number, I think this is 8, yes, and then my round number 5. And I'm going to get the background done first, and I'm going to do a dark blue background. And I'm using my flat 8, so it gives me a little more coverage at a time. Use whatever brush you're more comfortable with, because this one is sort of like a little bit harder to go around in the detail. And remember, we've got our ink pen to use if we want at the end to make this a little more detailed. Has anybody been to the beach this year? Let me know in the comments if you have. The ocean is my happy place. I So happy and energetic at the ocean. All those ions floating in the air. It's amazing. And then the lid to my, I don't know if I said this already, but the lid on my ice cube tray, you can use like a palette to mix colors, which is really cool. Alright, so we've got our background done for the parts, and you can see where I've left the white spots for like the pieces of the crab, like especially the little legs sticking there, and that's going to make this look really cool when we go to finish this guy. I always like this part. I don't know why I haven't been doing this. I used to do this a lot when I made these little paintings where it sort of hang off like the border. Okay, so I've got our little crabby guy here. Make sure that that's not too... And I'm going to paint him now. So I'm going to grab my round 5, get some water on here, and then I'm going to fill him in with my orangey red here. So this is going to be my crab base color. I'm going to put it on light enough that I can see my pencil. And then you gotta be a little more careful when you're up in here, because you don't want to... There's no taking it off the white paper after you get it up here. Okay. I find it easier to start on the outside of the painting. Or I'm sorry, outside of the outline of what you're painting, and get a nice crisp line with like the paint there. And then you pull the excess into the middle. And this also creates sort of like a natural shadow. So this would be a technique you could use with, like, obviously acrylic, which is what we're doing, or watercolor, where you sort of outline it first and then use your water. So all I did was dip in my water to blend that out, to fill it the rest of the way in. The cool thing about these little mini paintings too, just remember while you're doing them, that you can at the end use your ink pen to sort of touch up the edges and, you know, make your little mistakes and stuff here work for what you've done, right? So, like, if you can tell, I'm not being real careful. And I'm also doing this because I want to enjoy it. So that's always something to remember. Like, you want to enjoy what you're doing. Don't get like caught up in the detail of it. Just enjoy the getting color on the paper. So much more what this is about. Not perfection by any means. And then once you're done with this, like once we have this quarter up, we'll have this cool little collection of all these. I need blue right there. Of all these beautiful, oh no I don't, just kidding. Well, maybe. Right, okay. Like second guessing myself, sorry. You'll have these beautiful little paintings of all these things that we created together regarding this book that we're reading, The 20,000 Leagues. So this is just going to be like, I don't know. It's gonna be, I'm like super excited. I love doing little mini paintings. They relax me because I don't feel like I have to finish this big piece of art. It's sort of like as a kid where you could just sit down and draw or color like one coloring page. It's something that's a little bit more, slightly more mindless, which is why I also give the stencil, just to make it more relaxing. Okay. So you can see that spot over here where I missed my blue. I'm going to have to go back here in a second, add some blue in. Gap between my legs, if I like missed that when I was putting the background in. So I'll have to do that here in just a second. Hands are shaking a little bit. Okay. So look how fun that looks with him sort of like coming out from behind, or like over top of the background. I think that's like really cool. Okay, so I'm gonna grab a little more blue. I need to start in there. Okay. So now I'm gonna rinse my brush back out. I'm gonna grab this dark red that I have. Then I'm gonna create like some of the shadow along the edge of his shell and along all those like areas where we've got the segmentation of his shell again. Yeah. So just trying to create some like depth to him and give him some shading. He's got this sort of area right here. You can see I sort of made it almost triangular. And go on again, back in with the segments. Darkening this area up that's right under the body with the legs too. And again, just going right above the line. So that is the shadow. I'm gonna turn him a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna deepen this up in there. And then now I'm gonna rinse my brush out again and I'm gonna give him some highlight. So I'm gonna pick up some of my white and just dab a couple areas I want. I need to remove some of that from my brush, it's too much. I've got a decent amount of water on my brush, so now I'm just gonna blend that out. I'm gonna rinse it out and get a little less of paint on. And some of those dots I put on there, I'm gonna blend those out. I'm gonna add a little more red back into his body here. I feel like it's too much. And I'm gonna add, I think, just a tiny bit of this brown right along this area. Here we go. Okay. So, on my first one I did, which you'll see, and I'm not sure I want to do that this time. But the first one I did, I'll show you so you guys can see like another option. But we've got the seaweed here. And I did where he's sort of peeking out around and you can see he's more like centered and even. So that's another option for you. I don't think I'm going to put the seaweed on this one because I really like the simplicity of this. But I'm going to give it just a second, I think, and let it dry a little more. Yeah, the red is not quite dry enough yet. I think I'm going to add some texture to the background maybe. I'm trying to decide. Let me think. What do I want to do? So, actually, I'll show you guys a cool little tool I have. I get these. These are in the craft section of Michael's over by the craft paint, not the art paint. And they're just little daughters. I'm actually not sure what the actual name is. So they've got like the stylus on both sides, and there was like a pack of 4. But I use these a lot. So I'm gonna use the green. And I'm going to give this some detail around the edge just to give it a little more. I don't know, I feel like it needed something more, but I didn't want to do the seaweed. And if you have a rounded like end of like your paintbrush, so the ones I have, I like because they're like a spatula on the one side. I don't know if you can, how hard that is to see on here, but you can see it's like sharp. A lot of times the paintbrushes are round on the top, and you can use the same technique with that. I do that when we do our paint and sips. We use the back end of our brush quite a bit to make dots and stuff. So you can definitely do that as well. Getting a little crazy. Okay. I'm gonna go with that. And then my grabby guy should be almost dry enough. I'm gonna pick up some of that liquid so that I can go ahead, and then I just wiped off my little dotting tool, and then I'm gonna grab my pen that you all should have from your box. I want the small side, so I'm not gonna use the brush side. I'm gonna use the pen ink side, and I'm gonna give this guy, oh my gosh, look what I did. Okay, and now I'm gonna have to do it to a few other places. Happy accident, right? Actually, that looks really cool. Alright, we're gonna go with it. Now hopefully I can not stick my finger in it this time. Should have waited on that. Alright. So we got some cool texture here. See if you can see that there. It's sort of fun and different. Alright, you just work with what you do. Alright, so this part we're going to sort of make more sketchy like I've done in the past. So I sort of go around everything almost loosely twice, and it creates like, I don't know, like a texture almost to me. I like it. I'm gonna pick this up so you guys can see how loose the line drawing is. I feel like that, it's very forgiving then, and it looks sort of like a, I don't know, like an old sketch you'd find in like a sketchbook or something. So just remember, like, you can make this work and it doesn't have to be perfect. Alright. Hopefully that wasn't too close. So I'm using my phone to videotape this, which is a great phone, and way high def, like I was telling you earlier. But I am doing this on like a Facebook private group to be able to like go back and edit a little bit, but the quality of the, I just noticed when I picked it up, the zoom is just not there. Hopefully it's better quality than what you guys have been getting, though. I know that was terrible. I apologize. I have had the worst time with a video situation recently, and I don't know what to do. So if anybody has any suggestions that would be like an easy fix, that would be nice. I'd really like to use my phone because it's such a good camera, but we'll see. So there is our cute little crab. So there's one option. And then your other option, which all we did was like the seaweed, which we've done similar technique on some of the other weekly whimsies. And then, and you can see how I've fixed my boo-boo by putting my hand in it, but it actually added some pretty cool like texture and everything. So hope you guys like it. Let me know what you think, and I look forward so much to seeing your next weekly whimsies and chatting with you guys about the book. And I hope you all are excited with the little preview of the new subscription box coming out. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.